Hi and welcome to my new channel. Today's topic is about exercise and fitness and keeping in shape for carrying and supporting something like my DSLR rig that I've got here. I'm going to show you some exercises that I do, and I'm also going to show you how much it weighs and the type of exercises I do in order to keep me strong and fit for when I'm out on the field. When I'm out on the field, I can be in some stressful positions and it can put a big load on your body. So my main aim is to give you an insight into what I do to keep me fit and strong, so I don't have any occurring aches or pains after a long day of filming. Let's go. Before we start, I've got a luggage scale here. It can take up to 50 kilograms in weight, and of course my DSLR doesn't weigh 50 kilograms. And this is what it looks like. It's a digital one. It can take ounces, pounds and kilograms. And it basically just hooks on to there. If you're going to put a suitcase on, and it measures the weight of your case or your DSLR rig. And I've bought this specifically for my DSLR rig. So I'm going to just give you a quick example of what I do. You can follow me here. And basically, all I'm going to do now, as you would do with a suitcase, is lift it up here. And it's showing an average of 8.34 kilograms. So that's how much it weighs. One of the most stressful positions that I get myself in sometimes is when I'm doing low angle shots. So I'm just going to adjust my monitor here, turned it on by accident there. And then I usually hold it with one hand. And because it weighs so much, it actually acts as a good buoyancy, and it keeps my camera from shaking a lot. So I tend to hold it, grip it like so, my forearm here, and I tend to I'm always in this position. So I'm moving around like this. Now it can get very stressful on you, as long as you stand correctly using your thighs. It can put a lot of stress on your back and also on your lower back, and of course your forearm and your wrist. So the exercises that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be showing you how I keep strong, especially at my shoulder and this right side of my tricep here. But that's sort of a low angle shot, and I usually do, I'm very sort of action shots, so I tend to keep it quite low and then I'll gradually move up like so and down to keep the camera steady. And it takes a lot of control and strength to keep the camera smooth. Okay, so the first exercise that I'm going to do is, I've got a 20 kilogram bag here, and it's quite an awkward bag because, you know, depending on how you hold it, it depends where all the weight is going to dissipate, all the weight. And with the DSLR rig, I can just pick it up by the handle, just like so, and there's nothing to sort of worry about where the weight is because it's central. I've balanced it so everything is perfectly centered in the middle when I pick it up. And it puts a lot of stress on your forearms, especially your wrist, especially if you're doing low angle shots. So what I do is, it puts stress on your trap muscles as well, especially if you're using one hand. I use this 20 kilogram bag and I do a tricep workout. It also works my shoulder area, my biceps slightly, my forearm especially, and my wrist. So it's almost a similar type of exercise that I'm doing for the holding the rig. I lift it up as high as I can and I bring it down. You put your hand on your hip if you want to support yourself, and you lift it up and down, up and down, up. I do it on both sides. Remember to keep it equal when you're exercising. Same again, lift it up and down, up. Now remember, I'm quite strong, so I use a weight that I can handle quite easily. So if it's too heavy for you, use something lighter, and you can get these bags in different weights. So maybe go for 10 or a 5, or what suits you. If you've got dumbbells, single weights, plates, you can use them, but it's just quite handy because it's got a handle on it. This is another pose that you might see most cameramen when they're holding their rigs in this position. To me, it's quite comfortable, okay? But for long periods of time, you can start putting a lot of pressure on you. You can get a counterweight which goes on the back, which takes that pressure off the front, because you'll find that you start drifting forward sometimes. So you've got to adopt that elbow tight to your body to keep the rig steady. and still. So I'm going to show you some exercises that I do to keep my back strong, because it can put a lot of tension and pressure on the lumbar part of your back and also under the lateral area of your back, and of course behind your neck. And one of the most common things that I see a lot of cameramen do is they have the monitor really high, so the head's like this, and they tend to look back a lot, and it can put a lot of stress on the back of your neck. So I tend to make sure my monitor is adjustable and I have it sort of in front of me, exactly where I want to see it. Now I've also got a viewfinder, which is here. So when it's really sunny, I can just come away from the monitor and it's head height, my eye level. I'll just put my eye to it here. And I've got a really good eye level of my subject. Next exercise I'm going to show you is the stand up. Typical stand up DSLR rig hold. And as I say, sometimes you can be in this position for quite some time. So I'm going to show you what I do, which helps the top part of my shoulders, my arms and my back. I'm going to use the same 20 kilogram bag, and I'm going to pull it where it's got side handles here. So that was the first position, like so. Now I'm going to use these straps, and basically all I'm going to do is lift it up like so and hold it there for a bit. By doing that, it's giving me the same stress feeling and the same stress I get in the top part of my back, behind my shoulders, behind my chest. I bring it down again, and I bring it up, and I hold it there just for a few seconds, and then down again. So that's exercise number 2. One of the worst positions I find myself in sometimes, I'm going to show you. Sometimes I can be at a low level, and sometimes the camera you can leave it where it is and you can just film from there. But sometimes you have to actually lean it up that way, and that's quite an easy feeling there. And normally I would adjust my DSLR rig monitor to suit the angle of what I'm filming. But in this case, I'm going to put it back to where it needs to be, which is here. Turn it off there, which is supposed to be here. But what I do find is I'm on one knee. I usually have knee pads, especially if I'm outside. So I'm here. I've got a really good, my back is nice and straight. I've got a really good posture when I'm filming. And as time goes by, surely some of you will find yourself drifting like so. So you must remember to have a break when filming, depending on how long the scene is. I've got a mono pod that I use that I can adapt and screw underneath here. And if you're at a position for a long time, just screw it on, the mono pod goes to the floor, tighten it, and that takes the load off the leaning down and falling. So that's a good tip for you there if you ever want to, if you're going to be filming for a long time. Now I'm down on one knee. Got my rig with me. So usually I have my knee pads on, depending where I am. I go like so. Sometimes I lean forward and my elbow on my knee, keep the camera steady, like so, and I can still move around, like so, depending on what I'm doing. There. So that's quite comfortable. I'll show you from the side. So I'm here, sit back a little bit, I've got a nice, strong position. So what I'm going to show you is the same 20 kilogram bag. Now remembering my DSLR rig weighs just under 10, so I'm talking about 8.5 kilograms. So the same thing with the bag, it's got handles on the ends on each side, like so. And what I normally do is I stay in the same position that I'm going to be filming in, and I lift it up, put it over my shoulder, and I try to keep the weight forward as much as I can, because that's where most of the weight is. And lift it up here, and I hold that position for a few seconds, and I put it down like so. Pick it up again, say it again. So it simulates holding my rig, but it's a lot heavier. So when it comes to holding my rig, it feels so much lighter, and my body is adapting to the position that I'm in, to support the rig. Now, one of the very bad postures that I tend to get myself in, I do the same with photography. I'm taking photographs, is I adopt the wide leg position. It's almost like you're doing a wide squat, and you get into this position and it can put a lot of stress on your thighs, your lower back and your bum area. So this is why it's so important to keep fit and strong for when you're actually holding your DSLR rig. So I'm going to show you some exercises that I do in order to keep me strong when I'm in this sort of a stressful position, like so. So the worst one I probably find myself in is the stress position, which I normally use sometimes when I do photography, especially a lot. And this is the one where you're doing a wide squat, and I have my rig here, and sometimes I've got to get this low because sometimes on your knee isn't the right height, so you've got to be here. And it can put a lot of stress on your hip, your groin, your bum muscles. So I'm going to show you what I do in order to keep strong when I'm in that position to help me. And here, same 20 kilogram bag, but this time I'm going to use the handles on the end. I lift it up, I'm going to adopt my squat position, I'm going to hold it out for as long as I can, like so. Shoulders are strong, biceps are strong, and then put it down. Same again. So I'm in the camera position on my one knee, come up, and lift it. So you can see it's becoming a workout in itself, but that's a stress position that I adopt. And down. So here's some other exercises that I do. For me, stretching is very, very important. And so I'm going to show you what I do, because sometimes I'm actually sat on the floor when I'm filming or doing photography. It could be outside. So one of the things that I do is just to help my lower back and flexibility is I open as wide as I can. So remember, when you're exercising, start gently, do it gently until you feel comfortable to go much wider. Now, this is something that you don't really see, but this really helps me because sometimes I'm in a stressed position with the camera. So what I do is I get this 20 kilogram bag and I use the handles at the side. I'm going to lift it over my head so it goes over my shoulders, the back of my shoulders. I can let go. Now what I'll do is I'll lean forward. Now that pushes stress on behind my hamstrings there, okay? I'm quite flexible in my lower back, so I don't really feel any stress there. But what I'm doing here is it's just helping me with my hips, opening up my hips. So I lean forward. It's like someone pushing on your back, and sometimes if you're on your own, you don't have that. So by me putting that on my shoulders, I can lean forward, and it just helps open up my hips and my lumbar part of my back. You can go to the side, just hold one side, just go to the side if you want to, and that helps you just stretch out all your hamstrings. To me, that's very important because when you're in stressful positions, it can put a lot of stress on your body, and if you're not flexible or fit, you're gonna really feel it, and I'll tell you, you will pay the consequences for afterwards. So it's very important to keep flexible and strong in what you're doing, and that's what exercise that I do to keep my hips and my flexibility, especially when I'm holding the rig like so, because sometimes I could be like this, and to me that's quite comfortable. I don't feel any stress, but that's years of experience, and to me that's just really, really comfy. Okay, here's another exercise that I do. There are many exercises that I can show you, but I'm going to keep it to a time limit. So this next one is really good for the lower part of your back, and my back arches quite a lot, and it can put a lot of stress on it. So what I do to help me prevent from getting any more stress is I work the lower part of the muscles in my back, and what I do is what I call Superman. I know I went Captain America, one of my favourite superheroes, but today it's a Superman stretch, what I call Superman stretch. And all I'm going to do basically is put my palms of my hands together like so, I'm going to push out to my forehead as far as I can and then bring my feet up. Now what this does is actually putting stress on the lower part of my back. It's not stress, it's more exercising and massaging the lower muscles above my bum cheeks and my lower back. And I'm going to come down and relax. Usually I'd have my head facing forward, not up back. I'm just showing you for the camera. And then relax your neck, no pressure on the neck. Lift your feet up as high as you can, hold it for as long as you can. Keep pushing out forward and relax. So as you lift, you can lift your hands up first if you find that easier. And bring your feet up and then push out. Very stretch. You'll feel your lower muscles, your lower back contracting in there and your hips. And that really helps me, especially after I finished filming or before I film, I stretch. And that really, really helps my lower back and massages it. In the first clip of the bag, I showed you a single-handed, more or less a trap shoulder pull with a single arm on both hands. Okay. Now, I usually use a bigger and heavier weight for this to keep me strong, but you can do double-handed. Remember to feel the balance in your body. Breathe in. Remember to exhale. Breathe in when you're training. So breathe in, and let it out as you're coming down. So you breathe in and let it out as you're coming down. So really, I'm using 10 kilos on each arm. So I'm sharing the load, 20 kilo load with both arms. So basically I'm lifting 10 kilos now on each arm, which means I can do more reps. It's lighter. So it's working the shoulder area, behind my neck and my traps, strengthening those, like so. These are quite advanced techniques now. But what I've got here, if I'm not going to be filming for a very long day, I take this belt with me. And what it does, it supports my lower back. I can wear it depending which way, what I'm doing. That way, so it supports the arc of my back here. It takes all the load on this. And this is really handy, especially if you're going to be filming for a long time. You think 8 kilograms is not much, but when you get yourself into stressful positions all day, it does take its load. So I tend to carry this with me if I'm not going to be filming a long day, and it takes the stress off my body. But what I also do is my biceps to keep me very strong. Now make sure when you're doing biceps that you are capable of doing this. I've got 60 kilograms here, and like I mentioned before, 30 on it, 25 on each side, and the bar about 10. So roughly about 60 kilograms. And it's a curved bar I'm using, which means I can hold it in different angles and different shapes. So I'm going to show you a quick bicep what I do. It's quite heavy, but it just keeps me strong and able when I'm working with my rig, because I want my work to look smooth and slick after I finish filming. I don't want to be filming all day and then the camera footage is shaky, or we can't use that. So by me keeping fit and strong, I know I'm going to have a steady angle. It's not a gimbal, it's actually a DSLR rig, and most of my shots are quite steady once you get used to holding a DSLR rig. So I'm going to hold the bar with these two angles here, outer slopes here, and I'm going to just make sure I've got a good posture. Pick it up here, and then keeping, like I've explained to you earlier on, my belly comes out, the lower back is strong. I'm going to lift to here, curl there, and bring it down as slow as I can. You don't really want to lift it and then drop it. That defeats the object. So if it's too heavy, you can push off your thighs. So I tend to lift, curl my wrists, bring it up, and then control it down using both arms. And I'm going to do 5 reps, 3 sets of 5 reps with that. Now I'm going to go straight into the tricep area. Sorry, my apologies, I'm going to go into the trap. Now I'm going to go into the trap area, which is these. Because these really help me for filming, because a lot of the weight is on my shoulder area. So what I'm going to do is grab these two centre humps here. I'm going to put my thumb in the middle, grip it, so like this. So like I used earlier on with the 20 kilo bag, I'm going to now lift my chin and down. I'm going to pull it up and down. lift it up and down, lift it up and down, lift it up, elbows as high as you can, one more, lift and down. Control it down, bend your knees, lower back. And that's 60 kilos there. I do 3 sets of that as well. Okay, this is take 2 because the cameraman said I made a mistake. So I'm going to show you again. So I've got my same 60 kilogram bar here. And what I'll do is, I remember these are very, very advanced techniques. And I've been doing this for years. I find this really helps me when I'm low angles, holding my DSLR rig, and I could be on my knees, could be on a single knee, or I could be in a squat position, which is very stressful. So what I do is, this weight really strengthens my shoulders, and I've never had any problems with my lower back because I think this has really helped me. And I do it from my knees. I don't stand up. I find if I stand up, it puts a lot more stress on my lower back. So remember, I'm quite strong, so I find it's quite comfortable. But I wouldn't train on your own if you're going to push weights like this if you weren't confident enough to do this. So either have somebody there or drop the weight down and do more reps. It will still work. You're still working the muscles in those areas you need to work. You're just adding more reps to your session. So I get a wide grip. I've got my breath back now, so I can do it again. I normally do 3 sets anyway. So I'm going to lift it up, get a nice posture, wide knee, wide arm, bring it to my shoulders, there, and then over to my neck. It's not really resting on my neck, I'm holding it with my arms. Now I'm going to press straight up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. One more, up and down, and there. And I'm going to lift it over my head gently to my chest, bring it over, control it down to my thighs, and then to the floor. And I'll do 3 sets of those after each other. So 5 reps, 3. But this has been a lifesaver because it really, really helps me when I'm on the field, and especially in stressful positions. So that's quite an advanced technique, but I say you can drop the weight. So there you have it, just a quick insight into what I do in order to keep myself strong and in shape to hold this little DSLR rig. And look out for more tips and ideas from me and my new channel, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.